So assignments, I know it can be a little intimidating with assignments, and for good reason, because they can get really messy very quickly if they're not handled appropriately. So when we're talking about assignments, the very first thing we should be thinking about before pen hits paper is whether or not the original agreement is even allowed to be assigned, okay? In every single new build agreement of purchase and sale, there will be a clause in there from the builder that will reference assignments. And the majority of builders prohibit assignments without the prior written consent from the builder, okay? They usually also require an assignment fee if they're going to grant that consent. And they can range in price, on the low end, I would say $5,000 up. So in terms of, getting consent, that's step number one. The builder has to authorize the assignment before anyone can even move forward, okay? Some builders also not only require an assignment fee, but they also require their own form of documents to be used for the assignment. And the reason is the builder doesn't know who the new assignee is. They don't have any privity of contract with that new buyer. They don't know their name. They don't know anything about them. So they don't feel as comfortable proceeding. What if the assignee walks away? What if the deal falls apart? They want to be able to put the original buyer, the assignor, on the hook for the transaction if it falls apart. So figuring out if you're even allowed to assign and what the builder is going to require is step number one. Okay. And then assuming that the builder has granted consent, you have to think about who you're acting for. So if you're acting for the assignor, the very next thing they should be doing, and we always tell our clients, go speak to an accountant, okay? Because there's tax implications with respect to the assignment that might be a deal breaker for them when they do all the math and figure out what they're going to walk away with, all right? The reason is assignments are an HSTable transaction. So what HST will apply to is any profit that the assignor is making. So for example, let's just say the original agreement of purchase and sale between the original buyer, who's the assignor, and the builder was for $500,000. And let's say the assignor is now trying to assign for $800,000. That $300,000 lift, that's going to be subject to HST. In addition to that, the assigner is also going to have to pay 100% tax on business income tax on that $300,000 because of the new anti-flipping laws. So that's a big tax implication that might be a financial deal breaker for the assigner. Okay. HST is also going to be payable on any bumps to the deposits. So let's just say in the original contract, the assignor paid the builder $100,000 in deposits. Now on the assignment, they're trying to make $150,000 on the deposits. That bump of $50,000 is also going to be subject to HST. And if the right language is not in the agreement, in fact, the whole $150,000 in deposits could be subject to HST. So getting in touch with an accountant is imperative, especially when you're dealing for an assignor. Okay. From the assignee's point of view, an assignee is going to want to make sure they're getting the appropriate credits in the assignment agreement with respect to the new housing rebate for HST. Now, the builders, we've seen this more often, again, they don't know who the assignee is. So we've been seeing builders say no credits are going to be applied on closing for the assignment. Full HST is payable and due on closing, and then the assignee can go ahead and apply for it post-closing. So from an assignee's point of view, they're going to want to have the appropriate language in the agreement, making sure that they're going to be the ones that are receiving those credits from an ability to apply for the HST rebate on closing. So all this to say, it's a non-negotiable to even proceed without having the assignment agreement conditional on lawyer review for both the assignor's lawyer and the assignee's lawyer. There is so much to discuss. We need to make sure the appropriate language is in the contract for each party, and also give everyone enough time to talk to their lawyers, talk to their accountants, to negotiate. So I would say at minimum 5 business days would be recommended for lawyer review.